a champion of Southwest Georgia.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Truly, this is the day that the Lord has made. We must rejoice and be glad in it. Not because I'm receiving this award, but because we're celebrating 50 years of the Community Development Block Grant Program. And we're here celebrating great partners who have made that possible and are making it possible now. So everybody here has had a hand in it. So give yourselves a round of applause. I am certainly honored to receive the Community Development Block Grant Champion Award. Our local elected officials, the City of Albany and Doherty County, have worked tirelessly over the years to capitalize on the success of the CDBG grant program. Mayors and county commissioners, members of the city commission, the county commission, and I'm glad to see Commissioner Demetrius Young here with us, have worked so hard to make sure that the Good Life City and the surrounding areas were able to take advantage of it. And I'd like to also recognize the folks who work behind the scenes, and one of those unsung heroes was just mentioned, and that's the Community and Economic Development Director, John Hawthorne, and the staff. Give them a round of applause. You know, they have worked so hard. Successive members of that group over the years have worked so hard with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, with FEMA, with GMO, with the SBA, and many of the other federal agencies to make sure that these grants could be rolled out and be administered, and the people in this area could take advantage of it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention and thank the community organizations that were honored tonight. Community Development Council, Albany Doherty Homeless Coalition, Albany Community Together, the United Way of Southwest Georgia, New Visions Community Development Corporation, and Strive to Thrive. Thank you to all of you for the significant work that you have done and are doing for the people of this community. You know, for the past 50 years, Community Development Block Grant Program has injected over $160 billion in communities all across America. But the economic and community development, including local and neighborhood revitalization, housing rehabilitation, infrastructure improvements, blight reduction, economic development. But maintaining this program has been, and it continues to be, a constant struggle. There are those in Washington, across the country, and in Congress who are intent and who, in the name of saving taxpayer dollars and cutting the national debt, they want to shut the government down if they can't eliminate or cut the Community Development Block Grant Program and programs like it. 6 months after shutdown threats and gridlock, from September 30th, when the last fiscal year ended, Congress finally, just a couple of weeks ago, passed the FY 2024 federal budget. It was a fight, but we were able to maintain the funding for community development block grants. But just as sure as that bill was signed, those opponents have started working as we begin work on the 2025 fiscal year budget to try to fight to cut the CDBG program again. So it's a constant struggle. But this is an election year. Politics is nothing more than who gets what, when, and how. And it's the elected officials that make those decisions and allocate those resources. So you need to know that elections do matter. And we are enjoying we're enjoying times in Washington that we've not seen before. Billions and billions of dollars have been invested. We came out of the COVID pandemic with the American Rescue Plan, shots in arms and stimulus checks, and business that was shut down opened up, and jobs that were not there now have come back better than they were before the pandemic. We've had investments in infrastructure all across the country. Politicians have been talking about it in Washington for decades and was never able to make it happen until the last 3 years. There's a lot of noise out there. Don't be confused. Remember, this is an election that's about not just our present, but our future. We got choices, and we've got to make those choices. It's who gets what, when, and how. We cannot afford to miss out on the investments and the opportunities that programs like the Community Development Block Grant bring to communities like the Good Life City all across America. Safe and affordable housing, and fighting homelessness, and the elimination of urban blight, and new businesses ready to create jobs and grow the economy. Historical preservation and restoration, which boosts tourism. Look at the Liberty District. Vital infrastructure projects, which can provide communities with clean drinking water and wastewater systems. Working with partners like the ones we celebrated tonight. Working with you, I am just so proud that you've allowed me to serve you in Washington now for 32 years. Because of my seniority, I have been able to get on the Appropriations Committee. And for those who might not know, there are two kinds of committees in Congress. There are authorizing committees and there are appropriations committees. The authorizing committees write the wish list. The Appropriations Committee writes the checks. And I am one of the senior members, thanks to you, on the Appropriations Committee. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to my staff, and I have my Chief of Staff, Mr. Kenneth Cutts, my District Director, Mr. Chris Drake. Somebody told me earlier, that's Drake, he's a Drake. And also I have Mr. David Britt, who is my current campaign manager. I just want to thank you for what you do. This group has done so much for so many for so long to improve the quality of life for the people in this area. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you've allowed me to be your representative in Washington to work to help you do what you do so well. I want to keep doing it, but I know that this is a temporary, transitory job. But I'm committed, while I'm in it, to do my dead level best to work for and in your behalf. And in the words of a poem that Dr. Mays always used so many times, I've only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Let's all continue to work together with CDBG and all of these organizations to make sure that we use God's minute to make life better for everybody that we can possibly touch. Thank you so much for this support.
Come on, we can do a little better than that. Let's thank Congressman Bishop for his time, for his effort and his commitment. Well, we have reached the end of the evening. We have a few housekeeping.
We have a few housekeeping things, but we